Hey everyone, so this is our last assignment for the week, and it is combining sentences and its effect, and then a reflective persuasive writing to end it all. So below we're going to have a few broken sentences, just 3 broken sentences, okay? And so what you're going to do is you're going to combine them into one smooth, well-written sentence using a conjunction, which is what we've been working on all year with compound sentences and complex sentences. So fanboys, coordinating conjunction, and but or so, or subordinating conjunction, suave, because, although, while, and when. So those are the only ones that you're going to be using on this. And so it actually kind of talks about it for each one of them. But the narrator was horrified by the frozen corpse. He pushed the sled forward to keep his word. Now, you can do it either way. You can make this a compound sentence or a complex sentence. It's up to you. If you do decide to do a complex sentence here, I would add the conjunction at the beginning. And just remember, if you do add the conjunction at the beginning, so let's say because, you want to put a comma here. All right. So just remember that you do put a comma after the first clause. Oh, goodness. What do I get rid of? After the first clause, if you add that subordinating conjunction there. And then here, you put a comma if you're going to use a fanboys. So you choose which one you would do. And you're going to do, and then after that, you're going to say, by using a word like although or but, hint, hint, does the narrator seem more like a victim of the cold or a hero of his own word? And then you tell me why you think that. So make sure you are answering this effect sentence. So for example, right, although the narrator was horrified by the frozen corpse, he pushed the sled forward to keep his word. So what does, like, is he a victim of it or a hero? And so we're going to do that for each one of these, okay? And 2 are from Sam McGee, and then 1 is from the Admiral. Now with our next section, our part 2, you have two versions of the same thing already written for you. One has a bunch of periods throughout it, and then one adds your conjunctions. And then you just want to answer each of these questions based on option A versus option B. Then part 3, you're going to make your own sentences, and it's important here. These sentences should show the relationship between the small moments of fear and the great acts of courage we saw in our readings. And it's important you set this up because it's going to set up the what you're going to write in the next section. So, although the narrator wanted to minimize, there's our minimal word, his time in the freezing cold. What did he do? And you put it in your own words. Because the Admiral understood the magnitude, there's another morphology word, right? What happened? And then when the character realized that even a microscopic mistake could lead to the disaster, he does what? And then finally, you're going to come down here. And with this last section here, you're going to use the information that you compiled before, so those sentences that you just wrote, and respond to this prompt using those sentences, and then also taking some information from the text to support why you put that. So does knowing a hero's private fear make them more or less heroic? Or is this determination based on something entirely different? I would probably stick with this part unless you are really, really sure of it, okay? And then use evidence from the stories or any text that we've read. I would, again, just use it from the stories because we've been working with them all week. So, and then just be mindful in that when you combine the sentences, like your meaning changes as you're doing that. So with this, right, you can use one of these sentences, you can use all of these sentences in your answer, right? But just make sure that you are kind of restating this question before you go into it. And then this will kind of work somewhat as your evidence. You just want to put it all together. You might have to add something here or there to make it all make sense. But your goal here is to show me whether or not knowing a hero's private fear makes them more or less heroic. And this is what it means. I don't know why it said graphic organizer. It's not a graphic organizer. It's just these 3 sentences above. All right. Thank you guys for watching. And hopefully going through this video makes this assignment much easier than it may have appeared. All right. Bye, everyone.